And without a doubt, the situation that obsesses us the most, contrary to what we might think, is not that there is no interest from the other person, but that the level of interest does not match ours. This is much more obsessive. Why? Because if we see interest, even just a hint of interest, we will interpret that our feelings are shared. So there are situations where we become very obsessed. Why? Because we notice that the other person likes us. Yes, they do like us. But let me tell you something that I want you to keep in mind, and that we are going to talk about now, and how to manage this situation, of course. And it's that it's not enough to just be liked by someone, you have to matter to them. Because keep one thing in mind out there. You can like and be attracted to many people. Maybe you say, well, not me, Amanda. I'm the kind of person who doesn't just like people out there. It can happen, you know. But I'm telling you that especially for men, out there are a lot of people they can like. From there to choosing or deciding, or rather getting emotionally involved, there's a world. There's a path. It's not that simple. Okay? So what happens? That many times we believe that if someone likes us, we can make ourselves matter to them. But the way we try to matter is by stepping into a territory that isn't right, isn't it? For example, I often find in consultations, we analyze the behavior, right? And we see inconsistency, we sometimes see rudeness, we see indifference mixed with specific moments where there might be more flirting, more attraction. So I hear a lot of people saying, Amanda, I know that when this person does that, they do it because it's somehow a game. They do it to attract me more, to get my attention. And I'm not saying it's not true, it could be. There are times when it's not even that. There are times when, even if we don't want to see it, because our attention is so divided, that inconsistency arises somewhat naturally. But there are other times when I agree with you, yes, it could be that this person is deliberately using some techniques, some little tricks, to attract you more. And we obviously think that's positive, even if they take a while to respond. If they do it to attract me more, well, hey, they're doing it for me. But we don't realize one thing. The person who uses little tricks with you might like you, but they don't care. Because when someone matters to us, we don't mess around with those silly things because the fear of losing the other person overwhelms us. A person who truly matters to me, no. I'm not going to mess around with nonsense like responding tomorrow, because my fear that tomorrow, when I respond, that person might no longer be available is greater, because the desire not to lose them overwhelms me. That's why the mere fact that the person dares to use those little tricks on you says a lot about their level of involvement. It indicates that they might be attracted and might like you, but they are not afraid of losing you, and therefore you don't matter to them, to the extent necessary for something substantial to come out of this. And when you cling to the idea that they do it to please you, attract you, and you try to achieve the same with those kinds of games, without realizing that you might already be involved, that person already matters to you, and therefore you have everything to lose. Why? Because indeed, for someone who likes us, it can even be entertaining. That is to say, it's pleasurable. From time to time, they hear from us, but when they don't, if perhaps we are giving them a taste of their own medicine, and for a while they don't know, or for a day they don't know, that person is not in distress. Nothing happens to that person. That person lives their life peacefully. That person might also be talking to more people and playing the same games. Or they're just doing their own thing. But you think you're playing when for you it's not a game. And thinking you're playing when for us it's not a game is a mistake. Not to mention that we are at a disadvantage. Because in the end, you experience it differently. You take it differently. It does affect you. It does hurt you. And you get more involved. So I have to realize where I stand. Does this person matter to me or not? If they matter to me, what the heck am I doing playing? Would you play with something important to you? I don't know. Would you bet your house? Would you bet your health? No, right? Well, there are people who, when they have a gambling addiction, and we know it's negative, right? Precisely because of that. There are things you don't play with. And I believe that playing with our feelings and our heart is certainly not a good idea. So I have to assess the situation and realize, Look, between attracting and pleasing someone and having this person take me seriously and invest emotionally, there's a middle ground. Where do I stand? Where does the other person stand? And how should I proceed next? And if I already care about this person, I shouldn't play games. I should seek clarity. I have to abandon half measures. In other words, it's about not going into this person's territory and entering a limbo where we're just entertaining ourselves, but rather bringing the person to my territory, which is that I don't want half measures. That is to say, either I see commitment from you, or the smartest thing will be to withdraw before I keep losing and losing. My emotions, my time, my energy, and my enthusiasm for a game, because I don't want a game. What I want with you is a relationship. It's that many, many times. Our ability of self, how can I put it? It's not even about falling in love with ourselves. It's about self-filling. It's our ability to justify such great complacency by clinging to a faint hope. It often leads us, truly, to interpret as a relationship something we have completely distorted. I mean, we have forgotten what we want. Maybe you say, hey, well, I would love to share my life with someone, that is, have someone by my side to rely on, to share my worries with, to live joyful moments with, to travel with, someone I can lean on, and to whom I can also contribute. I want someone I can trust, who gives me security, who makes me feel better about myself, with whom I can start a project. I mean, that's our idea of what a relationship should be like. But suddenly we meet someone. We notice, as I say, that they do like us, that there is attraction. We start to fantasize, an important point we must not lose sight of, and a serious problem, right? We start to fantasize about the idea of having all this with this person. And suddenly a year goes by and we are light years away from reaching that, which we know is what we really want, but we haven't even realized it, right? As I say, I get cases from people who tell me, Amanda, it usually starts like this, right? Our situation is complicated, isn't it? This person is not my partner, but... And the but is sometimes followed by a narrative. That even the person themselves, when they have to develop it like this, leaving aside the fantasy, because that's the issue. When this person is experiencing it, in those intervals, in those spaces, there is much more. And I know it, there is a rich internal world where we have visualized ourselves and continue to visualize ourselves, where we have genuine daily conversations with this person. We talk and so on, where when we are in the nighttime of our bedroom, we imagine having a great intimacy. You know? I understand all of that. But of course, when this person comes to me and tells me, what do they tell me? The facts. The events that have taken place on a real plane. Not in their fantasy, not in their mind. Not in those moments of nostalgia, of emotion, of believing that someday, but look, Amanda, on such and such a day, this person and I talked about this. Then they said maybe we would meet over the weekend. The weekend came and we didn't see each other. We went 10 days without talking. Then one day they commented on a status. I asked them about such and such, and then this and that, and suddenly they realize that they have spent a year of their life, which sadly can sometimes be summed up in 3 or 4 meetings, especially at the beginning, and then a series of interactions with little investment from this person, which do not lead to truly getting to know each other more deeply. We see that the person has not shown vulnerability at any point. Openness is important, especially when referring back to men, because women tend to be more vulnerable per se. We have been taught that it's okay and that we can almost show vulnerability to anyone, but not men. If you've been talking to a man for a year and he has never opened up to you, never talked about any concerns, or been willing to show his weaker side, that's bad. Because men at the beginning will want to impress you and will want to appear strong, and so on. But precisely, emotional investment involves setting aside that facade of wanting to impress a little. Because who do you want to impress? Do you want to impress the girl you're attracted to? The one you like, period. The one you care about. You want to see if you're compatible. You want to know if that person can also support you. In deeper aspects. Then you sometimes realize that you've spent a lot of time in the very act of advising people, as I say, having to set aside all the mental clutter and focus on the facts, with embarrassment, they come to the conclusion of, phew, well, I am indeed far away, and this person in the end contributes very little to me. But then it grows within us because our brain finds it very difficult to distinguish between what is imagined and what is experienced. An idea grows that deep down others don't fully understand us. That magical thought arrives that others don't comprehend us, don't understand the situation well, don't know that between us there is a strange feeling that this person and I share, but for some inexplicable reason, it is not developing in the physical realm. And that, my dear, if it's happening to you, is that beautiful illusion you have in your heart, and I wish for you never to lose it, but I would like you to learn to use it wisely. And for that, you have to try to stop playing their game and pretending to beat someone without a weapon. Would you fight someone who has a gun? With someone who has a knife and you with your bare hands? No, right? Because you say they're going to kill me, right? Well, on an emotional level, it's the same thing. I mean, getting involved with someone who has shown you over time that they neither intend nor seek for this to lead anywhere, this person, if they are engaging, because that's another issue. They tell me, Amanda, but I don't understand. Why? Because, of course, for you, this is exhausting, it's arduous. At many moments you have a hard time, it's torturous, as I say. Sometimes you're in a state of unrest. Sometimes you come to the conclusion to let it go, but then you don't want to be without the person, you have attachment, right? So it's like, Amanda, I don't understand why this person finds it worthwhile. Simple. Because this person is not experiencing it like you are. For you, constantly being. Yearning for something that is being dangled in front of you, but never fully given, is sad, exhausting, frustrating. It lowers your self-esteem, and yet inside you, that emotion, that hope in your heart tells you, try it, fight for it, and I'm going to try this strategy. And now, I'm not going to show that I care, but now I will show it. Now my feelings are overwhelming me. Well, okay, I'm not going to look for them. It's already been resolved. Oh, thank goodness they reached out to me. It's a constant struggle, but not for this person. Because this person is not getting involved. For this person, it's every now and then, oh, look, message from Pepito, Julita. That's it. End of story. As sad as it may be, that's how it is. Or one day they suddenly remember or think of you. Oh, I should write. Oh, how beautiful they look. How beautiful they look in this photo. I'm not telling you to push them away. I'm not saying you should dislike that person or never want to see them. Maybe they do like you. But it's not enough. It's not enough for them to like you. You have to matter to them. That's how it is. Because until you matter to them, if you care about this person and they merely like you, merely find you attractive, you're wasting your time. And sometimes those stories of, I've been like this for a year, no matter how much we want to insist, lead nowhere. So, if you truly feel that you're the one putting in the effort, that you're the one with the desire, that this story is probably dragging on because you're not giving up, it's time to lean back. It's time to stop and see what happens. Because two things are going to happen. Either at the moment you truly stop putting in all the effort, all the desire, and all the initiative, this person, upon no longer receiving all this from you, and with that void settling in, meaning you're doing the work for both of you. When you stop doing it, either this person starts to get more involved, misses what they were receiving and begins to contribute more on their part. And if they start contributing, there is indeed a chance that they begin to justify that investment and that you start to matter more to them, or that evidently this person indeed does not contribute and this ends up fading away. But what is fading away? Understand that if this ends up fading away, what is fading away was not what you thought it was. In your heart, you feel that this person cares much more than others can see. But let me tell you something. In most cases, when a person acts as if they don't care, it's because they don't care. So either they don't care about you because you're not costing them any effort, and in this way it could be fixed, or they don't care about you because they simply don't care, and it's not worth your time to keep wasting it. So in either scenario, you end up winning. In one, you end up regaining your time and giving yourself the opportunity to detach from a situation that leads nowhere. And that's why it's not smart to stay. And in the other scenario, you end up winning because instead of playing on this person's field, which is let's treat this as a game, we move to our own field, which is, hey, either you take it seriously or don't count on me. So either way, it's a sure gain. And I know taking the step is difficult, but if you think about it, never in life does something being difficult mean it's a bad idea to do it. Not even. That you miss something, long for something, or have a hard time because of something is a reason to return to where it's not benefiting us. Think, for example, if you have an addiction, if you quit, for example, smoking or alcohol or any harmful habit for you, will it be difficult? Will your body crave it? If you give in, will you feel better at that moment? Does that mean it's really good for you? No. On the other hand, if you set out, for example, to achieve something positive for yourself, but that requires effort, there will be many moments when you say, why bother? I don't want to, I can't, not this. Does that mean you shouldn't continue down that path? No, not at all. So don't pay attention to, how should I say it? Don't give too much importance to the fact that at the beginning, obviously the only thing that leaving a situation where you're wasting your time will do is make you feel like you're losing, period. Why? Because among other things, you lose the option to fantasize and get excited. That is to say, this person is like a lottery ticket to you. It's unlikely that you'll end up in a relationship given the current situation, but there's a chance. And when you want to fantasize or get excited, you can think about them. Standing firm means you can no longer do that. So that's why, at first, even though I'm telling you, Amanda tells me it's a sure gain, but the reality is that all I feel is that it's a loss. I feel worse now than I did a week ago when I was still in contact with the person. I'm not gaining anything. Sometimes to gain something, you need to have a certain amount of patience. And in these cases, whether it's to see if this person wants to get involved with you or for you to move forward and reach a much more convenient situation for yourself, patience is needed in both scenarios. Well, I hope this video is useful to you, that you liked it, and that it helps you reflect if you need to. If you feel like it and want to, you have the option to subscribe. And we'll see each other again very soon. And until then, as always, I send you a big kiss.